Hey guys, my name is Josiah and today I'm going to be teaching you what you need when you first start off fishing. On my channel I help simplify the complex world of fishing, so let's get into this one today. This is a good one. The main things you need to just make sure when you're new to fishing, do not spend a ton of money unless you've got it. Like this rod, I'd consider this a good amount of money for a beginner. This is a lot. You don't need it. This rod right here, $100, perfect. This combo right here is probably 100 and 150. I don't remember the exact price, but it's not a lot. That's perfect. That's all you need. On your line, don't buy super expensive line. Buy, middle of the pack line. So this right here, this is the first rod that I'd recommend. This reel right here is a Shimano Sedona 2500. And the 2500 just basically, that's the size. So they come in 1500, 2500, 3500, 4500. 2500 is considered a medium size for fishing, especially for bass fishing. This is what I'd recommend for basically every spinning rod that you'll ever get. This reel, it's extremely smooth. It's incredibly cheap. I think I got it for like 50 or 60 bucks. It could be a little less or more than that now, but it's incredibly good. It's a good looking reel too. It's got some gold on the handle, gold on the spool. The drag's good on it. Very effective, very good rod. This reel has been incredible for me. It's stayed smooth. It hasn't ever broken on me. They've been great. I own multiple of them, and I've been pleased with every single one of them. So that also, this reel is a 6-speed. I don't know the exact. It's a probably 6.3 to 1, 6.1 to 1, something like that. It's a 6-speed reel, so basically, like when you look on a box of a reel, you'll just see whatever 5.1 to 1, 6.1 to 1. That's how many spins that the spool will do for every single time you crank the handle. So like with this one, it'll spin 6 times every single time you spin the handle one time. This rod right here, this is a Bass Pro Shops Fish Eagle rod. This is a real cheap rod as well. This rod's been pretty good. This one is a 6.6 medium, and what I'd recommend for your first rod is probably either 6.6 medium like this one, or if you want to throw some slightly heavier baits on it, I recommend the 7-foot medium heavy or 7-foot medium. I own rods of both of those and I use them all the time. They're very useful. So this is probably a little bit on the lighter side. I'd probably want to go closer to 7-foot. But the 6.6 medium right here, it'll get you by for a lot of your slightly lighter baits. Especially with what I'm going to recommend in a minute, you might want to go with this 6.6 instead of the 7-foot. Okay, so what I was saying then about the braid, which is this yellow right here. This is high vis braid. On my spinning rods, I always use high vis braid as my main line, just because I've found if it gets windy and you use the moss green line like I had on the Xfinity Baitcaster over here, the orange rod, the bright orange rod, it gets hard to see, and it's pretty bad. I fish on real clear lakes. I have no issues with fish seeing my line. I have nothing like that. Even pros, they'll use line like this. I mean, it doesn't really matter how clear your lake is. You just have to have a long enough leader and it won't matter. This is 15-pound braid on here. That's usually what I use. If I'm using a slightly heavier bait, I might go up to like a 20 or a 30 maximum. 15 is a good point to be at. And what you can see right here on this is that it goes from that yellow to clear right there. And what that is that's where your braid is tied to your fluorocarbon. So that allows you to have a leader where fish will not see this line right here, because this braid, obviously, that's way too bright. On the length of your leader here, I would recommend the length of your rod plus 1 crank on the reel. So when you put it on there, you're going to want to spool it up like normal with your braid. And then you're gonna, I have a video on how to tie, this is called a double uni knot. That's what I use with this right here. And that double uni knot is extremely easy to learn. You can use it also on any normal knot. It's a good knot. The uni knot is a good knot. I use it to this day. I use it all the time. So I would do, once I tie that, I'd bring it down my rod, I'd reel it down my rod, and then I'd just do one extra crank once it's down to the reel, once this knot is down to the reel. And that's how long I would have my leader. What baits I like to throw on this right here is a drop shot. If you don't know what a drop shot is basically just a hook above a weight. So then there will be a weight like this, and this one is a tungsten weight. You don't have to use the tungsten weight, you can use lead weights, and those will work just fine. But this right here is a tungsten weight, and basically this is good just because it'll come up off the bottom a little bit if you have it on the bottom. You know, very effective bait. You know, a drop shot is effective all year long, so that's definitely a bait I would recommend for you to use. Another rod I have here is a LURES Xfinity rod. This is the older model of the Xfinity, but they now have, I mean, it's the same thing, it's just a different color. These are only sold at Walmart, so you have to go to Walmart for these rods or order it on the Walmart website. But these rods have been real good for me. I got 2 spinning rods of these from back when I started, and this was one of my first bait casters right here. What I currently have this set up with, on there you can see that this is braid, not fluorocarbon like I would use on a spinning rod for my leader. So this, I'm pretty sure this is 30-pound braid. It might be 50. I used to use 50. This might be, it's anywhere from 30 to 40. This rod has been great for me too. This is a 610 medium heavy, and this rod can throw basically anything you put on it. I mean, I've thrown anything from some medium weight jigs, like this little finesse jig right here, and I usually pair that finesse jig up with these rage tails right here. And I would actually get the smaller rage tails, these are the larger ones, but for a smaller finesse jig like this, I'd definitely get the smaller things. This is a 5/16 ounce finesse jig. This buzzbait on here, I'm pretty sure this is a Strike King buzzbait. I don't know for sure what it is, but basically a buzzbait is a top water, so this will float on top of the water. But what's different about a buzzbait from different baits is that a buzzbait will not actually float unless you're reeling it. So it'll come up to the top when you're reeling it, and then it'll make like a clicking sound on top of the water, and that's what can get you bites. And on the back of this, I've just got a little toad on here. And yeah, this reel is also great. It doesn't backlash a whole lot, so it's good for when you're just starting out. But just remember, do not use braid with stuff that is not top water. Okay, this right here, this is a step up. So if you want a nice rod, or if your budget's high or whatever your situation is, this right here is the LURES Mach Crush. And this rod, I'm pretty sure it's $250 to $300, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly what it is. But on this rod, I have it set up. This is 20-pound fluorocarbon line. This is extremely heavy line, and that's because of the bait I'm using on this rod. But if you want more versatile, this rod is also real good. This one is a 7-foot medium heavy, so you can throw, I mean, just about everything on a 7-foot medium heavy. That is like, if somebody was going to recommend you one rod, one bait caster that you could get, a 7-foot medium heavy is perfect. And the other one's a 610 medium heavy. It's just about the same thing. What I have on this rod right here, this is a Z-Man and Evergreen. This is a jackhammer chatterbait right here. Chatterbaits have always been, I mean, this is my favorite bait to throw. Just the bites when you get on this, super fun, super easy to catch fish. You just reel it, or you can let it hit the bottom and kind of, you know, like crank it up real quick, let it kind of come down to the bottom, crank it up again. You can do that. and that works pretty well too. This reel right here, this one is a 7.5-to-1. This is faster. A lot of people won't run a chatterbait on a fast reel like this. I run my chatterbaits like very fast, so this rod is more for like some like a jig, like a medium weight jig, a little heavier than that finesse jig I had back there, or like, I mean, any like slower bait is more what this is for. But for a chatterbait, because it'll have more resistance because of the blade on the front that'll go back and forth, so the bait won't go quite as fast. That's why I like the faster reel for that. If I was gonna throw the lighter stuff that's not a chatterbait and it's not like a big jig, like a 1/4 ounce jig, which could be a little rough on this rod, it's got some good backbone though, so you could probably get away with a 1/4 ounce jig if you're, you know, on a deep lake or something in the summer or anything like that. One thing I keep in mind with a bait caster is you're gonna have to be patient when you first start out. I was not good at casting when I first started out, and I've gotten much better. Still not perfect. I still get backlashes, you know, time to time, whether that be I accidentally hit it off the bottom of the boat or hit the bank with the line or whatever, something stupid like that, you know. Stuff just happens, and it's okay if you get backlashes. You just gotta keep pushing through it. The best thing to do is just practice. If you'll practice more, you're already doing the right thing right now. You're on YouTube looking for help, looking for how can I get better. That's what you want when you start out, or where I am right now. I'm always looking for how can I get better? What can I do to make my baits better, my presentation better? That's what will make you a much better fisherman much faster. Okay, so some other baits I have that you could throw on a rod like this, or if this rod had some fluorocarbon on it and not the braid that is on here, is this is an owner shaky head right here. These are probably the #1 bait when you're starting out fishing. I would throw a shaky head 100%. I could drag a shaky head around wherever and I could catch fish just about any day on these. I mean, they're incredible. They're easy to use. You literally just lift and drag and then reel down to your bait, lift, reel down to your bait. I mean, it's just as easy as that. Just give it a little pause in between those lifts. That's all you gotta have, and you'll catch fish on a shaky head. With these shaky heads, I'd throw them on, say like a Zoom shaky head worm, Zoom Magnum shaky head worm. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a comment and tell me, you know, what rod are you gonna get? What rod do you have? What rod do you think is better even than what I've said today? Are there any rods that you think might be better? You know, I love to hear your feedback, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, please subscribe, it really helps me out, and just everybody have a great day. See you.